We usually think about political power as something highly visible. A president signs an executive order, Congress debates a bill, or a local mayor pushes back by declaring their town a sanctuary city. But what if an administration realizes it doesn't need to change laws as long as it quietly rewrites the country's infrastructure? This is the infrastructure workaround. It is a systematic campaign to strip away democratic oversight by taking direct control of the literal mechanisms of government rather than trying to pass sweeping new enforcement bills. Instead of fighting public legislative battles, the administration is securing administrative control over federal login pathways, identity verification systems, and the data sharing protocols used by local police. Formal political resistance loses its teeth when the federal government already controls the hidden plumbing running underneath a city. Look at the National Design Studio, or NDS, a new White House initiative. Its official mandate promises to overhaul government websites, but its actual output extends to centralizing citizen-facing control over voting, passports, and federal login pathways. This centralization recently touched the Treasury Department. Personnel from the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, bypassed standard IT security controls to enter federal payment systems. A GAO report found that an employee was granted unencrypted access to payment rails. They were inadvertently given the power to view, copy, and modify or delete data across massive financial systems. This access creates a template for a broader architectural objective, merging cross-agency identity proofing with financial records to create a centralized database of highly sensitive citizen information. By linking sensitive financial rails to centralized identity verification, the administration is building a system that grants maximum internal reach while systematically bypassing external review. While the government aggressively expands its capacity to monitor the public, it is purposefully blinding itself to elite misconduct. According to ProPublica, the DOJ quietly closed over 23,000 criminal investigations, drastically dropping corporate fraud cases. The data shows an even sharper drop at the IRS, where criminal referrals for ultra-wealthy tax evasion collapsed to practically zero by October 2025. At the exact same time the Justice Department closed out tens of thousands of corporate investigations, it shifted its resources heavily toward immigration prosecutions. The administration is concentrating its resources on the surveillance of movement and status, while the offices responsible for policing elite misconduct are being systematically emptied. To see how this federal power routes around local resistance, we can look at Southern California. The region serves as a proving ground for testing how federal authorities can subvert local sanctuary laws through technical integration. San Diego County uses a regional justice database called ARGIS. It holds data from every law enforcement agency in the area, compiling everything from local traffic citations to field interviews and jail census information. This creates a massive loophole. While local politicians publicly claim non-cooperation with ICE, federal agencies like Customs and Border Protection bypass them by purchasing direct access to the ARGIS database for nearly $100,000 a year. The workaround extends into physical surveillance. Local police forces routinely share their automated license plate reader data with federal immigration networks, operating in ways that often violate state law. On the ground, federal agents execute operations using localized intelligence, turning municipal assets into direct service infrastructure for federal enforcement. A local sanctuary law is entirely useless if the federal government maintains a paid, unaudited backdoor into the city's nervous system. The top-down database grabs in Washington and the bottom-up hardware hacking in San Diego share the same operational logic. We call this the bridge pattern. The core design of this pattern is access without accountability. The administration achieves this by routing federal power through private contractors, paid joint databases, and quasi-independent intermediaries. This layered redundancy diffuses political heat. If a civil rights group successfully blocks one legal route, the underlying data flows through an alternate, privatized channel. This shadow bureaucracy operates completely in plain sight. It is immune to the outrage of voters or the promises of local politicians because it relies on embedded infrastructure rather than explicit legislation. Stop paying attention to loud press conferences and proposed bills. Watch what is quietly defunded. To understand what a betterment is truly building, track the flow of data sharing fees, the specific language in agency contracts, and the administrative permissions granted to unvetted teams.